And comments can be a briar patch too. I mean, you can get sucked into that.
I
do nothing else the rest of the day. That's not practical.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that, even though the Tennessean does that, I'm not suggesting that you just have open comments. That might be shocking to people. But forum-like environment, like the Tennessean, if you do post a comment on a story about the Titans, you know, you're just going to get slapped back. I mean, it becomes this big bickering thing. I would moderate comments. I would piss people off and moderate them, and just say, look, if you're going to, we got a great community here, but you're going to play by these rules. And these rules is you can say anything if you do it with respect and do it like if you were sitting in a room together. And we're going to, you know, my job as the person who knows everything, or as your leader and talk show host, is to make this the best conversation it can be on this topic. And that is your job. It's not a time waste. That is your job. I mean, it's what Christian does.
Well, I think you're doing that simply by presenting that information, and like Tammy said, getting the conversation going.
Right.
And I also think it's a very individual thing. If you're comfortable jumping into it and the back and forth, do it. If you're not, don't. And if you don't want to do it, don't sweat it. Move on.
Yeah, to that point, you really do have to have a stomach for this, okay? You really do. You have to have a thick skin. You have to let a lot of people say what they want to say. You know, you have to though have a line drawn. You can't just come at this and, you know, one day you're upset with what people say, so you start banning, but then the next day you've got the thick skin. It has to be pretty consistent, and your rules kind of have to be pretty clear. And the rules I like to keep really are pretty simple. You can't engage in libel or slander. So, you know, you can get your feelings hurt and things like that. But, you know, illegal stuff, libel and slander, we'll take care of, and that really keeps the community in check, I find. And to your point about time constraints, too, on journalists, and your point about journalists, you know, need to really focus and love the stuff they're writing about, that would be great in an ideal world. But I can tell you in our newsroom, we have gone to general assignments all around because of cuts that are happening in news, and it's happening in newspapers as well. And the focus on you know, the stuff they love as journalists is not there anymore. It's now a process of writing for the editor, what the editor wants. Those time constraints also make that person not be able to play with technology as much as they should. Trace actually is a journalist in Northwest Tennessee, and she's a perfect example of a journalist playing with technology. If you go, just write this website down, newstechzilla.com. This is her baby. She's created this website talking about news and technology because it fascinates her. The change fascinates her. And because it fascinates her, she plays with it, she's learning, she's going to be ready for what's next. People who are fearful of it, who say it's dying, these are people that will not have jobs soon if they don't play with the technology or make time in their spare time to play with this technology.